that tomorrow, either your tenant, your landlord, or your buyer or seller, you will be protected. Hi everyone, this is Vishal. Thank you so very much for listening to me. Today I attended a session and that was about buying and selling the tenanted property. Now, few things which I learned was definitely not new to me, but a couple of things which I learned was absolutely crucial, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now, these things, if you're a landlord or a realtor, it's very important for you to know. Let's say you're buying and selling a tenanted property, and now you're assuming that the buyer who's selling the property has already ended the term with a tenant. So tenant acknowledgement, number one, sometimes we don't even know there is a tenant, and if buyer does not inform you, and if you do not find out, then it's absolutely illegal. It is important for as a seller representative or a buyer representative from both ends to make sure that you check that if the property is tenanted. Number two is, how about introducing your new buyer, who is going to be basically the new landlord of the property, to the tenant? That is very, very important. It's very important that tenant do not assume that the person living in other half of the property, sometime if it is partially rented, is the landlord. So introducing that tenant to the buyer as a new landlord is very, very crucial. Formal introduction of the buyer as a new landlord with their direct deposit information to the tenant gives you the assurance that you have done your due diligence to inform the tenant that where the money is going. So long story short, please inform. Now I'm going to read these three terms for you. So stay tuned and stick with me for this next 5 minutes and you will learn a lot. Now, what did it say? It says, number one says, the existing lease agreement. If the tenancy is month to month, the confirmation of the existing lease term, you do not want to be in a position where you are assuming that the agreement with the current tenant is about to end, which is why what I said earlier, it's very, very important. Number two is tenant acknowledgement, which has the tenant confirm the amount of monthly rent, the term of the lease, and any deposit provided by the tenant to the landlord. This is very important that you need to know what was the deposit provided, and also who pays the utilities. Very, very important. Sometimes one house nowadays, especially basement is rented separately, upper part is rented separately, and utilities are split. Now let's say if you empty the upper half, now you sold the house, the tenant in the basement said I will continue, and you do not inform the buyer or the tenant about the utilities, then who else will know about it? Because the terms in the lease, the existing lease terms will not change at all. No matter the new buyer has a 1 occupant, 2 occupant living in a portion of the house, the utilities will always be the same. Utilities split will always be the same. You cannot change any tenant agreement or lease term in the lease agreement of the tenant. Tenant do not have to sign the new lease with the new landlord. That is another thing you need to understand. Tenant are not obliged to sign a new lease. They can continue with the same lease, the same terms and conditions when they are handed over to the new landlord or a new buyer. So all these things, very, very crucial. Now these are very, very minor basics, tweaks which I'm sharing with you. If you want to stay tuned and if you want to learn more about the real estate, as I said, real estate simplified, all you have to do is follow, search me on vishalsagar.ca, and I will see you there. Trust me or not, subscribing to this channel is going to be more valuable than subscribing to any channel where you can laugh for a second. This is more value. I'm bringing you the exactly nitty-gritty in a very simplified way so that tomorrow, either your tenant, your landlord, or your buyer or seller, you will be protected. Last but not the least, if you want to help on buy and sell, you have my number. My email is hello@vishalsagar.ca, and I will see you around. Thank you very much. Bye for now.